The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ, otherwise known as Admiral COVID.
That's right. Starfleet Commander COVID. And it is Friday in the Riv. And let's start off with our COVID report from Starfleet Commander.
Yesterday's COVID numbers for Massachusetts was 264,454 cases. New cases was 5,130. Total deaths was 11,209. New deaths was 41. And Bristol County had 24,598. Now for the big numbers. Fall River had the highest number of cases yesterday in history, which was I don't think it's a history, but 154 cases to report, bringing us to the grand total of 6,003 confirmed cases in Fall River. And we had a couple of more deaths, which now brings us, how many more deaths was that? Confirmed cases, and 187 deaths are now in Fall River. So we're racking up the numbers, baby. We're racking up the numbers.
Yeah, Fall River is definitely a red zone. We're scorching hot. We may be number one in another bad category. We're number one in crime, number one in needles per square inch on the streets, and so we found another category that's a negative category that we can rise to the top of. But yeah, it's sad. With something, I don't know what we're going to do. I guess the vaccine has been approved. I think yesterday.
Well,
the FDA tentatively.
It's tentative approval. The official notice hasn't gone out yet, but they're expecting it to be released today.
Yeah. So, hey, hopefully that will do something. But although, we've already gotten some reports of some side effects and things, and people are getting some people are getting side effects. I guess they said that if you have latex allergies and a few other kind of allergies, it can adversely affect you. But then again, doesn't the flu vaccine, if you're like allergic to eggs, you can't take the flu vaccine?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
that's
all these vaccines. Yeah, all these vaccines have side effects. There's not a drug in the world that doesn't have a side effect, So, but, it's not like some of the drugs they advertise on television all the time when they say, you want to clear up your psoriasis, but a couple of the side effects are like death or your head will fall off or something like that. So I think I'd rather go with the psoriasis, It's true. It's true. But at least if this doesn't kill you, it might save you from COVID. So, everything is obviously a trade-off in life. So.
Right. Exactly. So it's going to be interesting. But I want to get to something. Last night they had a public safety committee meeting of the city council at 6:00. I honestly wanted to take a razor blade and slash my wrists. That's how bad it was. They were talking about Northeast alternatives and the driving and parking and all that other issues that they have up there because of this marijuana shop. And they all acknowledge that there is no solution to this problem that they know of, that they can come up with at this point in time. They acknowledge the fact that the impact money that we got isn't covering the police duties. And now the police chief wants to farm out some of that duty to Westport, Somerset, Swansea, and let them handle it as well. So there's going to be another issue that they'll be vendors to the Fall River Police Department, and we're going to pay for them. So it's still going to be dipping into that money. But Laura Ferrera came out with the idea.
Doesn't it?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because you're breaking up. I'm waiting to try to get it because for some reason, again, your mic on my computer is kind of breaking up, and it's like I'm trying to make out the sentence because I'm losing some of the words. You're breaking up a little bit, so that's the reason I was kind of hesitating.
Sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault.
Okay.
Oh, there goes Abby.
There goes the Abinator. So Laura Ferrera came up with the idea of making the term off Commonwealth a right turn only. Now, here's where a little bit of a problem exists. If you take a right turn out of Commonwealth, that takes you up to the Tiverton Rotary, which takes you into Rhode Island. And guess what? Marijuana is illegal in Rhode Island. And the police chief acknowledged that he doesn't know what the Tiverton police chief would do if that was the case, number one. And number two, did they check with the state police? Because maybe the state police would want to do something about it. So people may not be happy about that. I know that the residents who live there aren't happy because they're going to feel inconvenienced because they're going to take a right turn, go around the rotary to go back down and go left because they want to take a left turn, and they can never take a left turn. So we're going to inconvenience all those people who bought property there before it was a marijuana facility. And there's nothing that anyone can do for them. And remember this when you go through, because all they kept bringing up was, well, according to Jazel, he signed off on this. According to Jazel, he signed off on this. According to Jazel, he signed off on it. So even with this guy gone, he's still a headache to the city of Fall River. And it just doesn't stop. Just doesn't stop.
Well, CJ, the sad part about it is this is government at its best, and we're facing a new national government that's going to make this even worse because they're socialists. And the problem is they don't care about they don't care about the people. It's all about the money. It's all about that money, getting that money. I mean, all these businesses going under. They're not closing marijuana places. Why? It's essential to get high. It's essential that we keep these places going so everybody can get high. Well, guess what? It's so they can make money. It's all about money. And that's the reality. They don't care about the traffic disruption. They don't care about the people down the South End. They don't give two craps about that people. All they care about is revenue. That's all they care about. Marijuana shops will be the last places they close, regardless of the disruption it has on the community. And that's the reality. That's the reality. They don't give a damn. All they care about is their money. And then you talked about the Westport police and other police. I'm not even sure if that's functional because, I mean, technically, they don't have any jurisdiction in Fall River.
Correct.
They're supposed to defer anything when they cross the line into Fall River. The Fall River PD has to take over. There's jurisdictional issues. And they're saying they're just going to bring them there because they got a uniform on and they're going to put them there. But I'm not sure if that's because if they do have an arrestable offense or something that happens there, technically they don't really have arrest powers in this city. So it's a mess because, like I said, it's a mess because it's all about money. Drugs, remember, the early 70s and late 60s. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. We have spent not billions, but probably trillions of dollars fighting the war on drugs with no intention of ever winning it from the 1970s. 50 years later, a half a century, what did we get after spending trillions of dollars on the war on drugs? We capitulated. We surrendered. Zero. So now what we've done is the government, in doing what it always does, they figured out that it's better not to have a war on drugs. Let's legalize everything and make money, because all they worry about is generating revenue. That's all they care about. Everything is about revenue stream. So now there's no longer, now we've completely 180 drugs. Before, if you're a drug addict, now it's a disease, and we got to give them drugs, and we've got to give them a gateway drug. We got to keep that place open all the time, marijuana places, and it's money. And people wake up. The government is totally insensitive to your plight. They don't give a damn. All they care about is money, because they are not the victims of the society they produce. They live in rich gated communities where there's no crime. They have their own security forces, or they call the police if the Lyft driver doesn't roll down their window. So they live in a different world. All you got to do is just look around and see. They walk around and go, okay, it's even okay for that congressman to sleep with a Chinese spy. Nancy Pelosi doesn't see anything wrong with him remaining on the Intelligence Committee and getting the nation's most sensitive information after he allowed her to place Chinese spies into his staff, and she just bailed out. She left the country. She flew back to China. But, I mean, that's our government. This is all a big game for them. They're all getting rich, and half of them got interest in China. So be sorry, because this country is going down a toilet.
Nothing new for us, that's for sure. I mean,
look, Fall River led the curve.
Hey, did you read the mayor's monthly newsletter, which I thought was initially supposed to be a weekly one, but I guess not. I guess it was supposed to be monthly. Did you get...
I started, and frankly, I fell asleep. I'm sorry. I've never been a big fan of fiction, so it kind of put me to sleep. The reality is that it's a promo, it's a campaign. Look at the 50 things I did. How about the 5,000 things you didn't do?
Right.
So I like science fiction, but I'm not big on fiction. I'd rather read historically based stuff and things that have some semblance of reality. I'm not big for certain types of reading, and like I said, frankly, I started reading it after I had a full night of doing other things, and I think I dozed off, and I don't know, maybe on the three after reading 3 or 4 of them, I was kind of getting nauseous, and I just fell asleep. So no, but we can. I know you read them all, so. You can enlighten not only me of what I missed by falling asleep, but I'll get through them. But, what did you think? Because you read the whole thing.
I mean, I've got it in front of me again right now, and I'll tell you, it's mind-boggling. It really is. I'm just going to pick a couple of things out of the sky just to talk about them. His number 50 item that he accomplished. Recently expanded testing options in Fall River, establishing a new test site at the fire department headquarters with help from EMS and Fall River Fire Department. But the thing he didn't put in there is that test cost $20, when other test sites are free in Fall River. So couldn't he get the state to do that? I guess not. Okay. Utilize social media to provide COVID-19 updates on a daily basis. Okay, I'll give him credit for that one. Eliminated.
Yeah, but everybody's doing that, CJ.
Wait, here's the one that I love. Eliminated unnecessary city boards and combined positions in government center to save taxpayer money. What board has been eliminated? He attempted to eliminate the fire and the police commissions, but what else did he do besides put his friends that would vote for things that he wanted, like on the park board? It's just in partnership with the Fall River School Department, created a hybrid model to return children to schools, secured funding for the Chromebooks, and supported local learning points to meet childcare demands. That's his job as the chairman of the school committee. So, I mean, don't say that that's a success. Every other mayor has had to do that. And that wasn't on you, Mr. Mayor. That was an action done by the school committee, not by Mayor Paul Coogan.
Well, he also, did he recuse myself from the most important vote the school committee's taken in the past decade?
Nope, didn't do that. Not at all.
Is that on there? Oh, I didn't think so. Look, all this is a pre-election season punch list of things. And look, everybody else has done that. I don't see any. I don't. From what you read, it's much to do about nothing, as I said, and things like this. Social media things. He eliminated 2 boards. That, number one, he did it for his own personal gain. He doesn't want to deal with those boards anymore. People on those boards aren't his people. And they're advisory boards, and they mean nothing. But the important boards, as you said, that actually deal with things that affect the public, like issuing variances and dealing with purchases and stuff like that, he made sure he put all his people on. Look what he did with the park board. He threw out some people that were asking too many questions, and he put in his own people. So listen, that's political BS. I don't read what they did. I know what he didn't accomplish. He didn't accomplish making Fall River a safer place, having fewer drug addicts. He didn't advocate to get rid of this idea that Fall River is the only place we can send drug addicts. I didn't see him advocating with our state government representatives to try to make drug rehabs a shared experience. Like the lottery. Everybody gets a piece of the lottery, whether your rich community plays a lot of lotteries or not. Actually, rich communities get a disproportionate share because places like Fall River and New Bedford spend far more because the only way to live and make money is hit the lottery. And yet Natick and Wellesley and Newton, they all get lottery cuts. Well, why don't we regionalize like we did with the casinos? Why don't we regionalize these drug rehab facilities like Star? Why doesn't every region in a state have a Star? You know why? Because Fall River's the toilet that they flush everything into. Nobody cares about Fall River. But our mayor should care about Fall River and the damage that these things do to this city. We've seen the influx of drugs and the problems and people that stay here. So has he done that? No. Has he improved? Has he really initiated programs? And they're going to use the COVID for an excuse, but it's bull. But I don't see any really important things that people should be looking at in Fall River. Did he implement? He got rid of the police commission and the fire commission, but did he implement a system where we will replace equipment on both of those public safety things on a rotational basis so we have to buy a whole fleet or the vehicles are falling apart? That's been talked about for 30 years. I proposed that 30 years ago. And they don't do it. So anything that really has he thought about reducing the tax rates for the homeowner? No. He pushed tips for his friends, tax breaks for his friends, reduced taxes for his business friends,
which are all
and he
accomplishments.
screwed the residential taxpayer. And he screwed the residential tax. So you know something? Maybe we should have our viewers put together a list of 50 things he hasn't done. So I already put a few things on that list.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to step up for this city. I'm waiting for somebody to go to Boston and tell those people that think that Fall River and New Bedford are the two cheeks of our anus. So when they give the state an enema, that's where they put it. I want somebody to say, hey, stop making Star rich and Fall River poor. Let's regionalize these things. If you can put a casino in every region in Massachusetts, drugs are the biggest problem in virtually every state in the country. Let's regionalize the treatments. Let's let everybody share the wealth on that one. But the only thing we share the wealth on is the negative stuff. Send them all to Fall River. Dump them all. Even though TIFs don't work, let's give everybody we know a TIF so they can get richer and the people in Fall River can get poorer. So let's start a list of the 50 things that haven't been done to help the taxpayers and the people who actually don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Here's the one I loved right off the bat, which was number 27. Assisted in providing turkeys and meals to Fall River families for Thanksgiving. A lot of people assisted in doing that. That's not some great accomplishment, Mr. Mayor. That's your social conscience. That's what you decided to do. A lot of people do that. I've done that in the past. I'm sure Chip has done that in the past. Many of us have done that. Okay, we've helped collect turkeys. And we've gone one step further. We've helped collect toys for children at Christmas time. We've helped at CFC. We've done these things. So that's your social conscience. That's not a mayoral accomplishment. Here's another mayoral accomplishment.
Well, as you said, it's a social accomplishment because, listen, as you said, I was a member for a long time, many years ago, though, of the Salvation Army Advisory Board. And every Thanksgiving, we used to bring entire meals to the needy. And as a matter of fact, when my son was a young man, I brought him out with me when we delivered these meals because I wanted to show him what people didn't have so he could appreciate what he had. When we went into some places that were just, it was really, really tragic to see. They had virtually nothing, very little furniture, very little, the places were run down, living in apartments. But it was a moral lesson that you have an obligation to help those people who have less than you. And as you said, that's not a mayoral accomplishment. It should be everybody's moral imperative to try to help people who are less fortunate than them and try to bring those people up. This is nothing irritates me more about politicians than when they begin to with their self-aggrandizement. It's like they're going to make all these things like they're really great things. No, you're here to serve the people and the taxpayers of Fall River. When you do something to relieve my tax burden, when you do something to improve the quality of life in Fall River, we'll give you all the credit in the world. But don't give me this baloney. These are just mundane things, and you shouldn't even put it out. You get more. It's just ridiculous because, as I said, all I see is we're going to get the tax rate that was promised in 23 earlier. That's already been threatened. I saw healthcare being taken away from city employees from a healthcare system that has run under budget and given this city $70 million in savings over the last decade or so. So no good deed goes unpunished. I hate to say this, but if you're going to look for accomplishments, they should be accomplishments that made the life of the average citizen in Fall River better. And exactly. I don't see any of that. Well, I see the life of a lot of rich people getting better, but I don't see the life of the average Fall Riverite getting better.
Well, here's something I want to remind the mayor of. I'm no preacher, but Matthew 6:1 says very clearly, watch out. Don't do your good deeds publicly to be admired by others, for you will lose the reward from your Father in heaven. So leave it here to get it. I know you're a Buddhist, but I mean, and each version has a different, each version of the Bible has a different way of doing it. But it's very interesting to find that these people, politicians, have to do all their good deeds in public. Well, guess what? You'll get your rewards from the people here, but I don't know what you think you're going to take with you. But that's just the way that is. So.
No, you're right, CJ, as you said. And I know that you did a lot of work, and you remember the Knights of Columbus, and they do a lot of work for people as the Salvation Army did. And I was extremely impressed and very, very honored to be a member of their advisory board for a long time. I was on there with Danny Towle from Mark Hughes, who really was a great benefactor to the city. He helped a lot of people. People don't realize that because he didn't plaster it. He didn't write the 50 things he did. He was just there. And remember Billy Halal, his wife was on the advisory board when I was on. And, that's the Salvation Army is another great organization. They do tremendous good, but you don't see them, trying to, as you said, bask in the glory of their accomplishments. They do it because they truly care about the human condition, and that's something to say. We don't fight the fights we fight for money because we don't get paid for any of this stuff. All the healthcare people that work on that committee for their unions and don't get paid. Don't get paid extra for going there and trying to maintain the healthcare for their people. People who are fighting for benefits for people. Most of them are not in paid positions. So, this is what disturbs me about politicians. They love to, like Nancy Pelosi, it's like, okay, she actually agreed. She actually said that they held up the stimulus package for people just because Trump was the president.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, she should be removed from office. I mean, that is the most inhumane admission I've ever seen by a public official. You let everybody in this country go without money, businesses and people, for political gain. That's obscene.
Politics is done that way, especially, we see it worse at the local level, but at the federal level, we see it, as well. We see it in every level of politics. We not only see it from politicians, we see it from board members, committee members. We see the people that are touting the politicians' policies and their inequities to the people. And they shouldn't be doing that. They really shouldn't. Well, it looks like we're running out of time here. We're down to our last 50 seconds or so. I hope everyone had a wonderful week. I know that I appreciate being back, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Please keep watching us. Share us with your friends. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and wear your mask.